Today, we're taking you inside the glamorous and utterly bizarre world of one of Hollywood's most controversial bombshells, Jayne Mansfield. Jayne bought a 40-room Mediterranean-style mansion on Sunset Boulevard in 1957, and what she did with it would make it one of the most famous celebrity homes ever built. She turned it into a pink palace. Of course, it's not surprising since Jayne Mansfield was far more than just another blonde bombshell. She had a claimed IQ of 163 and spoke 4 other languages. Despite her dumb blonde persona, she was a shrewd businesswoman who understood publicity better than almost anyone in Hollywood. By the early 1960s, she was being paid $10,000 for a small public appearance, around $50,000 per week for independent work, making her one of the highest-paid entertainers of her era. But it wasn't just her intelligence or earning power that made Jayne famous. It was her complete dedication to living life in the most extravagant way possible. At the peak of her career, her net worth was estimated at $2 million, and she spent much of it creating a home that perfectly reflected her larger-than-life personality. Her pink palace became a tourist attraction in its own right, with cars and buses slowing down and stopping to look at the estate and the big wrought iron gates that featured the initials JM, centered in her signature heart shape. Much of the investment to buy the house came from the $81,340 she inherited from her maternal grandfather, Elmer Palmer. The mansion itself cost $76,000, which might seem modest today, but it was still a large sum when the average cost of a house at the time was under $7,500. But here's where Jayne's business savvy really shone through. Mansfield decorated the Pink Palace by writing to furniture and building suppliers requesting free samples. She received over $150,000 in free merchandise, essentially furnishing her entire mansion for free by leveraging her celebrity status. It was a brilliant move that showed she understood the power of her fame long before other celebrities caught on to this strategy. The transformation of the former Rudy Valley estate into the Pink Palace was nothing short of spectacular. Mansfield had the house painted pink, with cupids surrounded by pink fluorescent lights, pink furs in the bathrooms, a pink heart-shaped bathtub, and a fountain spurting pink champagne. The pink paint itself was special. It glistened and sparkled because the pink paint was mixed with crushed sandstone, making the entire house shimmer in the California sun. One of the most famous features of the Pink Palace was undoubtedly the heart-shaped swimming pool with the words, "I love you, Jayne," spelled out in mosaics on the bottom. Mickey, her husband and plumber, before he became a known actor and bodybuilder, had personally designed and built this romantic gesture, and it became one of the most photographed features of the property. The pool area was where Jayne would often entertain guests and pose for photographers. The entire backyard was designed as an extension of the pink theme, with pink patio furniture, pink umbrellas, and even pink lighting that would illuminate the pool at night. It was here that many of the famous Life magazine photographs were taken in 1960, showing Jayne in her element, surrounded by the pink paradise she had created. Walking through the front door of the Pink Palace was like stepping into a dream world. Floor-to-ceiling shag carpets, heart-shaped swimming pool, fireplaces and bathtubs. Gold-plated fixtures aplenty, and of course, pink everything greeted visitors at every turn. The living room was perhaps the most spectacular space in the house. Her master bedroom and bathroom were all covered in pink shag carpet, walls included. But it wasn't just the bedroom. Nearly every room in the house featured this wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling pink shag carpeting. The living room featured multiple seating areas, all upholstered in various shades of pink, from pale rose to shocking magenta. The walls throughout the house were adorned with Jayne's press clippings and magazine covers. The photo shows the wall along the staircase in her home filled with framed magazines that Jayne was on the cover of or featured in. It was a shrine to her own fame, and she wasn't shy about celebrating her success. The bathrooms were perhaps the most outrageous rooms in the house. The master bathroom featured the famous pink heart-shaped bathtub, surrounded by pink fur rugs and gold-plated fixtures. Pink champagne would actually flow from specially designed fountains, creating a truly decadent bathing experience. The mirrors were surrounded by pink fluorescent lights, and even the toilet was pink. The kitchen continued the pink theme, with pink appliances, pink countertops, and pink cabinetry. Even the refrigerator was painted pink to match the rest of the house. The master bedroom was Jayne's personal retreat, and perhaps the most intensely pink room in the entire house. Every surface was covered in pink shag carpeting, including the walls and ceiling. The bed itself was enormous, with a pink satin bedspread and heart-shaped pillows. Above the bed hung a large mirror, also surrounded by pink fluorescent lighting. The bedroom featured multiple wardrobes filled with Jayne's extensive collection of pink clothing. She had pink evening gowns, pink day dresses, pink lingerie, and even pink shoes to match every outfit. The room also contained a pink vanity table where Jayne would prepare for her public appearances, surrounded by pink cosmetics and perfumes. One of the most interesting features of the bedroom was the collection of personal photographs and mementos. While the house was designed to be a showcase for visitors and photographers, the bedroom revealed more personal touches that showed Jayne's life beyond her public persona. The dining room was designed for entertaining, with a large pink table that could seat 12 people. The chairs were upholstered in pink velvet, and the walls featured pink and gold wallpaper. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, their light reflecting off the various pink surfaces throughout the room. The entertainment areas included a large living room with multiple seating areas, all designed around the pink theme. There was a pink piano where Jayne would sometimes perform for guests, as she was a classically trained pianist and violinist. The room also featured a large pink bar, where Mickey would serve drinks to their famous guests. The house regularly hosted parties and gatherings with Hollywood celebrities, politicians, and international figures, all making appearances at the Pink Palace. Jayne understood that her home was part of her brand, and she used it effectively to maintain her position in the Hollywood social scene. The exterior of the Pink Palace was just as impressive as the interior. The house famously became a tourist trap. Cars and buses would slow down and stop looking at the estate and the big wrought-iron gates that featured the initials JM, centered in her signature heart shape. Mansfield loved the attention and would often step out onto a balcony facing sunset to wave to her adoring fans. The grounds were meticulously maintained, with pink roses and other flowers planted throughout the property. Pink garden furniture was scattered around the lawn, and even the outdoor lighting fixtures were pink. The property covered several acres, giving Jayne and her family plenty of space for privacy when they wanted it, while still allowing for the public spectacle that was such an important part of her career. The driveway featured pink gravel, and the garage housed Jayne's collection of pink cars, including a pink Cadillac and a pink Jaguar. Even her license plates were personalized with pink backgrounds and heart decorations. Living in the Pink Palace was like living in a constant publicity event. Author Matt Moranian once said, "She'd invite reporters into the backyard. She'd hang out on the balcony and wave to tour buses." The couple had a son, Miklos Hargitay Jr., who was born on December 28, 1958. They had a second son named Zoltan Anthony Hargitay, who was born on August 1, 1960. Their daughter, Mariska Hargitay, was born on January 24, 1964. The children grew up in this pink wonderland, which must have been both magical and overwhelming. Despite the outrageous decor, the Pink Palace was a functioning family home. The children had their own rooms, also pink, naturally, and there were areas of the house that were more private and less focused on the public spectacle. Jayne tried to maintain some normalcy for her children, even while living in one of the most famous houses in America. Maintaining the Pink Palace was incredibly expensive. The house required constant upkeep, from repainting the exterior to maintaining the elaborate interior decorations. By 1977, Mansfield's children discovered that their mother's massive debt, approximately $500,000, had left her estate insolvent. The Pink Palace, while a brilliant publicity tool, was also a financial burden that contributed to Jayne's eventual financial troubles. The house consumed money in ways that ordinary homes never would. The pink champagne fountains needed constant refilling. The elaborate lighting systems required expensive maintenance, and the custom pink furnishings and decorations were costly to replace when they wore out. Every aspect of the house was designed to make a statement, and statements don't come cheap. After Jayne's tragic death in 1967, the Pink Palace took on a different character. Weird happenings occurred around the Pink Palace. A bank president and his family were the first occupants of the house after Jayne's death. The banker's son found a pink Honda that late actor Nick Adams had given Jayne during a brief affair. The boy took it for a spin around the estate and then decided to try it out on the road. He was struck and killed by an oncoming car just as he was leaving the gates. The house passed through several famous owners over the years. Singer Cass Elliot of the Mamas and the Papas later bought the house, and after her death, Beatle Ringo Starr, a former friend of Jayne's, was the next to occupy the mansion. Ringo had the exterior of the house painted white, however, it began turning pink again soon after. This mysterious return to pink became part of the house's legend, with some attributing it to supernatural causes. Singer Engelbert Humperdinck, who had once been romantically involved with Jayne, purchased the house in 1977. Upon moving in, he had the house blessed by a Catholic priest and stated that he did not believe the house was haunted any longer. Humperdinck lived in the house for many years, maintaining much of its original character while making it his own. He sold the Pink Palace to developers in 2002, where it was demolished later that year. The demolition marked the end of one of Hollywood's most famous residential landmarks. In 4 hours, with all the pink, all the tiles, and all the fixtures, the house was but a memory. The loss of the Pink Palace was mourned by many who saw it as an important piece of Hollywood history. To think that the home of such an iconic celebrity from Hollywood's golden age was demolished really saddens me. More and more historic properties are being torn down for either larger dwellings or sometimes made into a street. The property was eventually incorporated into the neighboring Alwood estate, erasing the last physical traces of Jayne's pink paradise. The story of the Pink Palace reminds us that sometimes the most memorable people are those who dare to be completely themselves, even when that self is painted entirely in pink. Jayne Mansfield refused to be ordinary, and her home reflected that refusal in every shocking, glamorous, over-the-top detail. While we can no longer visit the Pink Palace, its legend lives on as a testament to an era when Hollywood glamour knew no bounds and celebrities weren't afraid to let their personalities shine through every aspect of their lives. In a world of beige celebrity homes and carefully managed public images, there's something refreshing about remembering a time when a star could paint her entire world pink and make it work. If you enjoyed this tour through one of Hollywood's most outrageous homes, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating looks inside the private lives of classic Hollywood stars. Until next time, keep dreaming in color, even if that color is shocking pink.